Good morning, good evening, good night, good day, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the Mad Poet Show. It has been a while. I was having all kinds of crazy connection issues. My streams kept shutting down, and I think I have worked it all out. I'm going to be currently playing Schizonoid Paraphrenic, and when I get done with this, I'm going to switch over and play the Patron Saint of Murderers. Two of my longer albums. I want to have a nice long stream and see if the connection issues have been solved by the load balancer that I've put in place, and we'll see what goes on. So yes, playing music live. Finally, good to be back. You are enjoying the show. If you are new to what's going on, if you are unfamiliar with what we do, I'm the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. And this is what we do. We play rock music. We talk about stuff. We drink water. And don't put mushrooms on your pizza. Life is good. This is how it works. The Curse. Okay, so far, so good. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers for this load balancer thing to actually work. And not convinced yet. I think the last stream I did, which was over a month ago, it cut out like 4 times. It's like, I really can't expect people to think that I'm still streaming after my stream stops. And yeah, it's like I've been streaming, 2.5, 3 hours. It's probably 2.5 hours is kind of my average stream. And the last few of them shut down at least twice each. And the last one shut down 4 times. So this one, so far so good, looking stable. I just kind of want to check my actual load balance software here. And okay, looks like it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So that's good. I'll take it. All right, let me make sure I'm on the correct screen here. All right, that's all I got. Let's keep going here. This next piece is called Object of the Deepest Scorn. This is actually kind of it's a fun piece from my perspective. This kind of moves around to different keys and stuff, different tempos. Got a lot of movement in it. It feels really good. This is what I've talked before about how I do a lot of running. Except right now, I'll talk about that later. And this one's got a really good feel when I'm out running. Just kind of the way it moves and had the different kind of musical ideas it hits. It feels really good when we're out doing that stuff. So let's check this out. Object of the Deepest Scorn. Got Ben Get 91. Not sure if I said that correctly. My words are actually kind of small over here. I'm going to have to adjust my fonts later. Got a new monitor on for my chat monitor, but it is definitely nicer than the one I was using. But so it sounded good, man. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Wherever from YouTube, from Twitch, from DLive, Trovo, LiveSpace, Picardo, Nono Live, Nemo TV, Vaughn, Afrika, wherever you're tuning in from, thank you very much for being here. It's like I got about 4 people watching on LiveSpace. I don't think that's ever happened before. LiveSpace, for those who may not be familiar, is a beta testing. It's a live streaming platform that's currently in beta testing. I'm lucky enough to be on the beta platform, and I'm very hopeful about where that's going to go. Very cool stuff, and something's about to happen that hasn't happened for a while. I mean, it hasn't happened that I've been streaming, but then there's this part, because ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. This song is called Barfing Blood from My Eyes. Bandit 91 says mom's favorite, barfing blood from the eyes. I'm guessing that's what you're referring to there. I don't see why she wouldn't have that as her favorite. And we got, I need to embigorize the font on this. Let me make this, get the right one here. I'm having a tough time reading that with my sunglasses on. And we got, I'm probably going to say this wrong, apologies. Ben Karabayakaler, probably said that wrong. Says, you're amazing, man. Greetings from Turkey. Tuning in from Turkey. That is awesome. Thank you very much for being here. Greatly appreciated. That is cool. It's always just like super cool when I get like the international kind of stuff going on. Oh, and Todd is tuning in from Live Space that I was talking about a moment ago. Great to see you as well, Todd. Thank you very much. And hey, apologies for not having been on here. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I've been having connection issues that was shutting my streams down. It was definitely not Live Space's fault. It was at the source, and I have hopefully worked that out. And this will be a fruitful and long stream. I'm planning, it probably should be at least 2.5 hours of streaming today. And we'll kind of see how things are going, but so far so good. And yeah, thank you very much, international viewers, local viewers, domestic viewers, alien viewers, animal viewers, plant viewers, whatever you got, wherever you are, do what you do and do it well. Just don't put mushrooms on your pizza. That's how to have a good life. Don't put mushrooms on your pizza. I don't know why this is so hard for people. And drink lots of water. Okay, we're going to slow it down here a little bit. For those who may be new to the show, as I'm going to choke for a moment. New hobby I've been working on. I'm getting good at it. Ben, we were getting along so well, and now you go and put mushrooms on your pizza. That's okay, you're still welcome here. You are part of the Mad Poet Society, but of course it's a very non-exclusive club. As we've mentioned before, we'll let anybody in. You don't even actually have to be alive to be a member of the Mad Poet Society. So, nonetheless, welcome. And for those who are less familiar with what we do, today I'm playing my 66th album right now. This album is titled Schizonoid Paraphrenic. When I get done with this, I'm going to bump over to my 55th album, The Patron Saint of Murderers. We'll be playing 2 full albums today. This next song, we're going to slow it down a little bit. This is called, Are You Sure You're Not a Product of My Imagination? Alrighty. As I mentioned before, that song, this album is called Schizonoid Paraphrenic. It's a name that my daughter came up with. She is freaking awesome. And this title track, which is coming up next, Schizonoid Paraphrenic, is dedicated, as many of my regulars know, I dedicate a song on every album to someone. Someone I know, someone I like, someone I've done cool projects with in the past or whatever. This song is dedicated to my buddy Richard. He prefers Dick. Dick, I don't know if you're out there watching, but Dick and I used to do some theater productions together, and we had an absolute blast. He's just this super cool guy and a very energetic dude. So when I decided that it was time to dedicate a song to him, like, we're gonna have to have a good energetic piece of music for my guy. So, going out to my man Dick, this is Schizonoid Paraphrenic. Okay, we're on nearly an hour deep now, and connection seems to be holding. I'm very pleased with this. It's just, you kind of get that, even though it's been over a month since I was having those problems and I've been working on it, you're still kind of in that mindset of things are just going to fall apart. And so that's kind of like, is this going to work? Is this actually going to be a thing? I hope so. Definitely gotta drink me lots of water. I freaking love water. I like taking showers and baths and swimming and drinking water. Water is just the best thing going. I am so glad we have such easy access to water. It is freaking amazing. Okay, so I was mentioning earlier that I normally do a lot of running, but I haven't been. So some people, when they are out exercising, whatever kind of exercise they do, if they're running, they're timing how far did I go, how fast did I go, how many minutes per mile, and all this stuff. They're taking measurements and charting things out. I don't do any of that. I'm just this totally laid back dude when I go out for my exercise. And I do other kinds of exercise. I do rope jumping, hula hooping, pull-ups, push-ups, ab stuff, all of that. Love exercising. But I don't care how many push-ups I can do. I don't care how much I can bench press. None of that matters to me. So I just go out and I just run. And so sometimes I'm just like totally taking it easy. Well, last Friday, I decided, because I normally run 6 or 7 miles a day. It's kind of my norm. So I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm just gonna go walk it today. So I'm out in my same area. So I basically I'll walk out, 3.5 miles, I'll turn around and come back. And that'll make it 6 or 7. So I get out and I'm just about to my 3-mile turnaround. It feels like there's a little rock in the back of my shoe. So I pull my shoe off, nothing there. I'm like, oh crap, that's the beginnings of a blister. That's exactly what it feels like. Oh. And like right there, I would have called Sarah and said, hey, you just come pick me up. I don't want to get a blister, right? Because again, I don't care if I do the full thing, whatever, man. I'm relaxed about it. But Sarah was out of town. So I walk a little further, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a problem. Turn around, and so I walk back on this thing. So I ended up walking probably 6.5 miles, and I've got a blister on the back of my left heel that's probably about 1.25 inches across. It's huge. So I have not been running since then because that's not going to work out well. So I'm kind of doing some TLC on the back of my foot. Been doing my other, I've been doing a lot of hula hooping and stuff. But yeah, so that definitely. And I was like, what is this? I come, I run this area all the time, and I go out for a walk, and I get a blister, and it's a big one. It's probably the second biggest blister I've ever had. The biggest blister I ever had was on the same heel when I was in Boy Scouts. We were doing a 50-mile hike. It was like a 5-6 day thing. And we were about halfway done, and I got a big, massive blister, so we popped that and kept it nice and clean, wool-skinned it up, and finished the hike. What else you gonna do? It's the way it is. So yes, really, it's been so nice out here in Eastern Washington too that I'm like, I want to get out and do my run, and no, that ain't gonna happen yet. So nonetheless, I can play guitar, so let's do some of that. This next song is called When You Can't Sleep. Oh, we got Self-Confident She coming in from Twitch. Says, hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chatbots. The price is lower than any competitor. You would like to offer me promotion. I would like to offer you a suggestion. Call your mother and ask her why she raised you to be an idiot. That's my suggestion to you. It's probably a bot. Probably no one even listening. I wanted to hurt someone's feelings. Probably didn't work. You know, I'm typically a very gentle person on my streams, but that kind of stuff is so stupid. Freaking idiotic. I hope this person is still watching, but if it's either a bot or they're already gone, trying to promote on someone else's channel. No, call your mom, ask her why she raised you to be an idiot, and see what they say. Eric Baruch says, hello from Mexico. We got Turkey and Mexico coming in today. YouTube is happening for the Mad Poet today. Thank you very much for coming in, Eric. I hope you are enjoying the show. If you're just tuning in, we are playing my 66th and most recent album. It's called Schizonoid Paraphrenic. When we get done with this, I think we got 5 more songs on this one. We're going to flip over to my 55th album. And today's stream, as I've said, is a bit of a test because I was having some very significant connection issues about a month ago, so I stopped streaming and kind of worked that out. And it looks like we're in good shape. We're over an hour now, a little over an hour on the stream, and we seem to be doing well with not dropping out, so that makes me very happy. But yes, for everyone, wherever you're coming in from, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you are enjoying the music. And Self-Confident So-and-so on Twitch has got promotion offers for us. So, I hope that Self-Confident, what's its thing on Twitch, identifies with this next song. I hope you end up lost at sea. All right, looks like my parents are tuning in from Twitch. Welcome in, guys. Hope you're doing well. I haven't talked to you for a while. Hope everything is good over on the west side. Things are definitely good over here on the east side. East versus west. All right. So I was talking about that message earlier where someone was trying to give me the promotion. So I had another big long message show up from Twitch. I thought maybe it was that person, but it's actually just my links and stuff that come up periodically on Twitch. So I was getting ready for a fight, but I'd have to fight myself, and I like myself too much for that, so I'm not going to do it. Nonetheless, we're slowing down here a little bit again. This is the 9th song on this album. I think we have 11 on this one, and then we'll be switching over, and I will have to kind of talk myself through the switch over because I haven't done that for a little while, but I should be able to get that happening. And this one's called When the Light Begins to Fade. That's enough of the slow songs. Let's kick this thing up here. We're B minor for those of you who want to play along. This one is called I Thought I Was Someone Else. Well, we've already done the G sharp minor portion of the show. That doesn't mean you can't crank your brain up for this next one, because it's also in G sharp minor. So this is like G sharp minor junior, and this song is called Destroy It. Destroy It All. Okay, so let's see about this changeover here. We're going to switch over to my 55th album. I'm also noticing I haven't had a Rogue Light yet today. We've been going for about an hour and a half, and we have not had a connection problem, at least that I've seen. Unfortunately, it does show up. If it disconnects, when it reconnects, I will generally see it. Okay, so I got to close this out. Got to delete this track. Gotta say yes to that. And let's do a little of this, a little of that. Okay. And boom. Now I should be able to switch over. Where am I at here? Oh, wait, no, I haven't switched. Let's get the, click on the right thing. And you still got my voice coming through. Good. I was getting really good at this switchover for a little while. If it's not done in exactly the right order, it do not work at all. So it looks, okay, now I got to bring the sheet music back online. Essentially what happens is my recording program runs my sheet music program. And so I have to tell my recording program to open the sheet music program or it won't work. If you open the sheet music program separately, then it doesn't work at all. So far so good. I need to know where my computer mouse is at. There we go. Patron saint of murderers. Are we in the right place? We are. And this is the first album I ever played on a live online stream, which is really cool. So this one's always kind of got a special place in my heart for that reason. And it's a very fun album. I really enjoy the Patron Saint of Murderers. The title of it came from a video game. There was a character in the video game that the bio said something about that. Let's see. Do It Pruitt is coming in on Twitch. Says live space is bugged for me, but I'm chilling here. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that you were on Twitch. Do It. That's awesome. Do It Pruitt is. Oh, did I? I did not. Okay. Do It Pruitt is a fellow beta tester on the live space stream. Does, I believe, primarily video game streams, and I've watched a few of his streams. It's very cool. It's a little awkward on live space because there's a very limited number of beta testers. So we pretty much expect when we get on there that there's not going to be anyone watching us. It's really just for the creators of it to do their testing and stuff. So and Do It Pro says he got started on Twitch. I will have to look up your Twitch channel. That's really cool. And thanks for stopping in. I hope you are all enjoying this. So we've been going for about an hour and a half now. We just finished my 66th album, Schizonoid Paraphrenic, starting up on the Patron Saint of Murderers, album number 55, first album I ever live streamed. This first song is called The Birth of Darkness. Osu Gamer coming in on Twitch. Welcome back. Good to see you again. And Osu says, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, it has been a long time. And I've mentioned this, but what was going on was I was having connection issues and my streams kept dropping out, which really sucks. It's hard to do a stream when you are not properly connected. So I have set myself up with what's called a load balancing VPN. So I'm streaming through a VPN, and we actually have two internet connections here. So we're on the Starlink. We were on the Starlink from back in its early beta stages, and so Starlink it's good internet, but it's not great for streaming because it does have some tendencies to have little 1, 2, 5 second dropouts. So the load balancer actually takes both of, we also have CenturyLink, which was our original, so we kept that. So now both of them are running into my computer simultaneously, and this load balancer balances them. And it's like, okay, so if one of them drops, it makes the other one come on and take over. And when they're both running, then it increases, kind of adds them together. I don't know what the math programming is behind it, but it seems to be working pretty awesome. So yeah, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Thank you everybody for being here. If anyone is coming in new here from wherever you're coming in, DLive, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LiveSpace, Trovo, Picardo, Nono, Nemo, Africa, wherever you're coming in from, thank you very much for coming in. I love doing this. It's good to be back live. I am the Mad Poet. You are an audience. We are the Mad Poet Society. Boom! 1 a.m. where Osu Gamer's at, so won't be staying for long. That's totally okay. I understand. Some people think that sleep is important. I'm one of those people. There's a scene in the show How I Met Your Mother, which I'm a big fan of. And there's a part where they're talking about New York being the city that never sleeps. And Marshall, he was getting all worked up. He's like, you know what? It's a city that never sleeps, but I like to sleep. Got to get up at 7:30 and take your brother to school. Okay, do it. That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had to take anyone to school. My daughter is 30, so she is intending to not have children, for which I applaud her. So there will not be a lot of taking the grandkids at school. I am the youngest of my siblings at 52. I have one older brother. So not a lot of school stuff going on these days. Makes my life much simpler. I can just rock out and eat pizza. All right, so let's keep it going here. This next song is the title track, The Patron Saint of Murderers. And when I started writing this, I knew it was going to have to be a real harpsichord heavy piece. And I think that I got the right feel for the title on this one. This is The Patron Saint of Murderers. Mr. Gamer says, love the harpsichord, goofiest instrument. That's pretty true. It is a goofy instrument. And it says, it makes me feel like I'm playing for a medieval king. That's a great descriptor right there. That's very colorful. I totally dig that. All right. This album, like I said, it's the first album I ever played in a live online stream. So it's kind of a cool one that way, but it's also just, it's a very fun album to play. There's, I'm intending to do the album soon, Attending the Shenanigans, which is I think it's like my 30th or my 31st album. And that one, I really like the album. In fact, as I've been exercising, I've been listening to all of my albums just on shuffle. And one of the songs on there came up the other day while I was out, and it's like, man, it really feels good to listen to, but I know that one's, I've always struggled with it live, and it's not a hard one to play, but for some reason, pulling it off live has always just been a bit of a struggle for me. And so it's kind of interesting how the different albums, kind of just behave differently from my perspective while I'm performing them. Attending the Shenanigans, always a tough one. Roswell, my 47th. That one's, I've got to really be on top of my game to pull those albums off. And but this one here, it's like, this is one of those albums that if I haven't practiced for 4 or 5 days, I can just pull this one out and I'm like, okay, I can hit this. I can make this happen. and it's fun to, it's probably harder, I think, in some ways, those other albums to play as far as the actual technical movements on the guitar. But I don't know, it's just fun and I can just rip on this one. So let's rip. This next song is something we all are. Stained with Sin. Definitely getting toasty over in Eastern Washington. It's kind of, it gets really cold in the winter, really hot in the summer. It's not uncommon in the middle of winter to be in, negative temperatures in the Fahrenheit scale, and usually single-digit negative. We've gotten double-digit negative a couple times. There are certainly colder places in the world, and in the summertime it's been as hot as 116. So again, definitely warmer places in the world, but it gets toasty, and it stays nice and cold, and then usually within like the matter of like a week, it just like jumps up from like the early 40s or so up to like the 70s. It's like, so it's boom, we hit our summer, and I am sweating for it. I'm digging it, feeling good. All right, this next song, we're gonna slow it down a little bit. This is a medium-paced piece, not really a slow one, but slower for this album. This is called An Angel Flying with Broken Wings. And now this next piece, I've had a few people, quite a few really, tell me that this is, of all of my songs, that this is their favorite that I've ever done. And that's a big compliment. I have released more than 600 songs, which is crazy in itself. Even just the fact that when I say I've done 66 albums. When I say something like I'm playing my 55th album, that is so weird. and I agree. This song, I like the way this one flows. I would not put it as my favorite of all of my songs, but I do like it a lot. And this one is dedicated to my buddy Duncan. Duncan and I used to play together in a punk band called Hades Machine. I've said it before, and I have maintained this. If you want to have fun driving a car, drive a vintage Beetle. You want to have fun playing in a band, play in a punk band. We're not talking about efficiency in driving, fuel efficiency or getting where as fast as you can. If you just want to have pure fun, Volkswagen Beetle cannot be beat. The modern Beetles are fun, but they're not as fun as the vintage Beetles. Get a 75, 68, something like that. Oh yeah, that's how you have fun driving. And punk bands. I mean, I've really had fun playing in metal bands and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, the most fun I've had is punk bands. So Duncan and I played in Hades Machine for probably about a year or so together. I was with Hades Machine for 3.5 years. They're still together. They're awesome people. I'm on good terms with almost everyone who was ever in that band. There was one person who was really crazy, but yeah, great stuff. So Osu Gamer says, am I going to do any more writing streams, composition streams? Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy those. And so right now I've been working on my 67th album, and that one in particular, I'm dedicating a song. There's a song called Rain Over Nowhere. It's actually the first time I'm considering a song a tribute. It's not just dedicated to a person. It's an actual tribute song. And it's in this, the person I'm dedicating it to is a guitar mentor of mine who passed a few years ago. And I credit him with being one of the most important mentors that I've had. And so that song is going to be 33 minutes and 33 seconds long. And sometimes I'll do that, like with my 63rd album, it's 44 minutes, 22 seconds. That's on purpose. My 17th, 34th, and 51st albums are all 52 minutes, 25 seconds. My 68th album, every 17th album is 52 minutes, 25 seconds, and it's just one song. So this one, there's nothing special about 33. I just where I wanted that song to fall. So I feel like that particular song, because of the nature of the tribute that I'm doing, just requires a little different kind of. I just need to spend more time on it. There are certain things I want to get just right in that. Where oftentimes when I'm composing music, it'll just be like, hey, put notes on paper and see what happens. This one, I'm a little more diligent about kind of exactly how I'm placing things, and I've really been working the transitions and stuff. So it's going to be a kicking tune, and I'm really looking forward to playing that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on compositionally. That particular song I will not do on stream, again, just because of the nature of the relationship there. But I probably, once I get that done, I will probably get on stream and compose some of the other songs for that album on stream. That album, my next album will be called Twice Upon a Time. And so I have been writing that, and I've also been working on Asymmetric Writings Part 4, which is my 17th album, which will be coming right after that. So, but yeah, I really do enjoy doing composition streams and all that. And I'll probably do a couple more kitchen streams. That's always fun to hit the kitchen and make some cookies or some pizza without mushrooms or whatever. So that stuff is definitely coming up. So great question. Thank you very much. So let's get into this. Going out to my man Duncan. This is The Castle of the Crimson Knight. We got Recursive Trauma coming in. How's it going, Sean? Good to see you. Sean says hola. Osu Gamer says hola back. That's his quote from Sir Thomas Beecham. The sound of a harpsichord. Two skeletons copulating on a tin roof in a thunderstorm. Dude, that's awesome. And Osu comes back with, or goofy goobers pressing buttons that make funny sounds. I think that the true test of whether or not you've done it right with your harpsichord is if you can say, would Lurch of the Addams Family approve? And I think that Lurch would not only approve of my use of harpsichord in this album, but would also approve of those statements. So, well done. And welcome in. Thank you very much for being here. It is really good to be live again. And it does look like the connection issues are working well. We've been going for almost 2.25 hours now. And I have not had a dropout. So this is good. This makes me very happy. This means that my load balancing VPN is balancing the loads correctly. Osu Gamer also says about the harpsichord, once enough force has been put upon the button of thy instrument, it shall make the string vibrate and maketh thy sound of goofiness. Awesome sauce. I need to embigorize the font on this thing because that one's a little on the small side also. There, that'll be a little easier to read there. Much better. All right, looking good. Let's get back over to this. And yes, again, thank you very much everyone for coming in. This has been a great return stream. Hopefully it was worth it to be out for, over a month trying to work out my connection issues. This has been a very fun stream. We're fairly well into it now. I believe there are 12 songs on this album. The two albums I played today are two of my longest. I wanted this to be a longer stream just for testing out purposes, making sure that this load balancer is actually working, and I think we're doing well. I'm pretty happy with it. But yes, thank you very much everyone for coming in, wherever you're coming in from. Much appreciated. I'm having a great time here. Hopefully you are also enjoying the music and the show and drinking lots of water. It's that choking hobby again. All right, time to play. This one's called, and this may be just true in my case, The Vulture Awaits. Alrighty then. I'm just trying to continue to monitor all of the various aspects of my stream. I follow a streamer on Twitch named Mandy Prater. She's a singer-songwriter type. She's a very, very cool gal. Strongly suggest that people check her out. I was watching one of her streams probably half a year ago or so, and she had a guest on who was also one of her regular viewers who didn't know how streaming worked. And they were talking about the whole setup, and it was just kind of about he was just kind of overwhelmed by how much was going on with her streaming setup, and because it's just there's so many things going on, and when like my setup is more complex than Mandy's, and I don't mean that to belittle her. I mean she's got a lot going on. She does like looping and stuff, so she's got a different type of complexity going on. But there's a lot to keep track of when you're doing this, and it's kind of a one-person show. So it's like when anything goes wrong, like if the lights go wrong, that's on me. If something goes wrong with the sound, that's on me. Osu Gamer says, I just have a Twitter profile dedicated to Waffle House fights. Wish we had Waffle House in the UK. I don't know what Waffle House fights are, so I'm not sure what to think of that. I'll have to look that up. I am unfamiliar. When are you doing the second part of that interview? What Osu Gamer is referencing there's an interview up on YouTube on a channel by Mark Cook, who's getting he's starting up a channel for music interviews with musicians, and he's a very cool guy. And so I posted that in my Discord, and in fact, we are going to be doing the second part of the interview a week from this Saturday. So about a week and a half, we'll be doing that. And so then it depends on how long it takes them to get it up, but to get it posted. So yeah, a week and a half. So probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks that should be out, and I will definitely put that in the Discord. People fighting at Waffle House. That's a common occurrence for some reason. That is baffling to me, because I don't know if that's like Waffle House is a restaurant or if it's just like at a Waffle House, like a place to make waffles. But if I'm going to a place called or that just is Waffle House, I don't want to fight, man. I want to eat some freaking waffles. Waffles are awesome. The restaurant, okay, it's a common occurrence for people to fight at Waffle House. That's weird to me, because like I said, if I'm going to Waffle House, I got a purpose in mind, and it ain't fighting. So, okay, that's crazy. That is new information to me. We do waffle nights here all the time. Sarah and I, we get into our waffle nights, man. I usually make the pancakes. She usually makes waffles. We each kind of have our wheelhouse there, and I think we've got 3 waffle irons. We got 9 sewing machines in the house. We're kind of crazy. They're a bad restaurant or something. Interesting. They're known for staying... okay, so if it's a 24/7 place, it's kind of like a Denny's or whatever, probably. So people are probably going out there and getting drunk and, going home from the bars and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that. But that's awesome. Totally dig it. So that leads us right into this next song. This is called Unspoken Malice. Right, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at in this album now. Oh yes. So this is a G sharp Phrygian song, which we have officially classified as G sharp minor, because Phrygian is a type of minor mode. So this is kind of our third G sharp minor portion today, because we had two in Schizonoid Paraphrenic. So it's been a G sharp minor kind of day. There's probably more than this, but this song is called Two Kinds of Anger. Osu Gamer asks, I'm talking to some guy and he's trying to figure out how to choose the key for a song. What should I tell him? He also mentions, I don't really think it matters if he's doing everything digitally, does it? So there are going to be a few considerations here. Certainly, if you are doing things without a physical instrument, which is a perfectly valid way to do things, I've done multiple projects that way, and I really enjoy digital composition where you don't, and digital production where you don't use an instrument at all. Some people think that's not a valid way to do that. I disagree. I think it's great. So certainly if you're using an instrument, so for example on a guitar, G sharp minor, which I just played in, and C minor, which I'm about to play in, both of those eliminate some of the open strings on a guitar. And having all of your open strings available generally makes things a little more accessible. So on physical instruments, that is a consideration. If there is going to be any kind of a vocal recording, a singer, then it's good to know what kind of a singer you're writing for, because certain vocal ranges don't do as well in certain keys. Now, a really good singer can sing in any key. Most people are not really good singers. And that's just kind of a fact of life right there. But also, if the person is going to be doing multiple songs or multiple parts of the project, it can be good to change keys, and that's just so that the ear doesn't get so accustomed to hearing the same notes over and over and over again. Now, there are plenty of albums out there that are just, like in heavy metal, some heavy metal albums are just E minor all the way through, and they're great albums. Metallica is known for writing largely in E minor and A minor on a lot of their albums, and great stuff. I really get into that. So that's not a massive consideration, but there's also the possibility that he or she may want to change keys in the song, and knowing how to change keys is a different kind of a thing. Like in the song I played earlier in this show called Object of the Deepest Scorn, I play in A minor, B minor, G sharp minor, and B flat minor. And being able to change between keys like that, that's a kind of a different level of skill, but it can add a lot of interest to a piece of music. So, that's a lot of it. And told him it doesn't matter other than his vocal range. So yeah, if he is going to sing, then certainly he wants to do something most likely that he's going to be able to do a comfortable recording on. When I hear people pushing their vocal range, I don't like it. And when I hear composers pushing people's vocal ranges, I don't like that either. And I know some composers will say, well, if I don't put like my sopranos high enough, then they blend too much with the instruments. Well, then you're not composing well. That's just kind of a fact of life right there. A good composition along with good production, you should be able to have any vocalist in any range and make them work, make them be heard. So yeah, and other than that, some people will say, like, there's a thing that goes around which comes from the movie Spinal Tap, which is that D minor is the saddest of all keys. I do not buy into this. There are so few people in the world who have perfect pitch. Like my friend Vivian, I could say, hey Viv, sing an A, and I could just tune to her. She's amazing. But she is such a rarity that most people, if you play a song in a different key than they normally hear it, they won't know. I won't know something like that. Over the 15, 16 years I've been teaching, I think I've had 2 students that could do something like that just know it. One of them is a Curtin student, and his ears are amazing. He doesn't have perfect pitch, but he has amazing ears. But for the most part, that kind of emotive quality that is claimed is very often not true. You don't know enough about keys, changing keys to tell them how to do that. And that's understandable. And this is something that, you know, like when I'm teaching this stuff, this is not something I'm going to be teaching to even intermediate level students. I mean, we'll be talking about it, but to really go deep on this stuff, you need to be fairly advanced. And there's nothing wrong with being at a, you know, beginner musician, intermediate musician, wherever you're at. That's what you've got to work with. So certainly, if he's not advanced enough to be doing key changes and stuff, most of the greatest songs that we listen to are just in one key, and they're fairly basic. Sean says the correct answer is C flat major, which has 7 flats. That's true. I would personally use 5 sharps and do B major. Now, this is an interesting aspect of discussion that gets very mathematical, because based on the way that we create scales using mathematics, which is based on a frequency ratio of 2 to 3, which is what we know of as a perfect fifth, which I've played all over in these shows. It's a power chord. That is how we use that interval to create scales. And because of the math, there's what's known as the Pythagorean comma, which is, it's kind of like the numbers phi or pi, where it doesn't ever come out to a nice round number for us. And the mathematics of music are very complex, and this Pythagorean comma means that in certain instances a flat is actually a lower pitch than a sharp. So an F sharp would be a higher pitch than a G flat. And so if you were using G flat major versus F sharp major, on certain instruments, it could be played differently if that's the composer's intent, and the composer makes his or her intent clear. And I have a big problem with this, because I'm just like, okay, play it on piano for me. And make it so I know whether you're playing an F sharp or a G flat. And you can't do it because there's only one pitch there. So if you're playing on a string section, and your string players are good enough to do this, then yes, there are certain instruments, but that really tends to get much more avant-garde. Now, sometimes you would use 7 flats over 5 sharps, because if you were coming from a place where you just had 5 flats, it might make more sense to continue using flats rather than sharps. So there certainly are instances where all of this is very context driven. And so it's actually a great answer that Recursive Trauma put up there, because it's great to understand these things. But again, this is getting very advanced in these levels. Osu Gamer also says, I got into the 432 hertz rabbit hole, and it makes me so mad how they all pretend to be able to hear the difference. Yes, I am eye to eye with you on this. Again, you would have to be like my friend Vivian to be able to hear those minute differences. And what Osu Gamer is referring to here is the standard of tuning. Make sure I got the right one here. Is that the note A is 440 hertz, and that's what you're hearing. And this tuning fork creates a sine wave. A sine wave is a very exact frequency. You're not hearing anything. When I play the same note on the guitar, you're hearing a whole bunch of overtones. And so you're actually hearing more like a chord. And so some people have argued that 432 hertz should be what we standardize the note A to. And one of the bases for this is the idea that 432 cycles per second resonates with the resonant frequencies of the universe, and it's holistic. It's freaking stupid. It's so absurd. It definitely involves the chakras, and it's very, very. It's a bunch of freaking hippies is what it is. That's what's really going on. It's a bunch of freaking hippies. And it does not make a difference. And there are people who claim they can tell, but what you really find on these things is, and they like similar kind of experiments are, listen to this violin versus a Stradivarius, right? Or listen to this song at 440 and then they switch it to 432, and who can tell the difference? And so what you always find in the comment sections on videos like that is that it's completely hit and miss until they tell you what the answer is. Like a week later or whatever, and then all the comments like, oh yeah, I totally heard that. Yeah, I knew exactly that. After you've been told, it's real easy to know what you're listening to. And I've seen tests with amplifiers versus amp sims, and just like I said, violin versus new modern violin versus Stradivarius, and all of these kinds of things. This cable versus that cable, and there was an experiment at one point done with monster cables versus a coat hanger. Just using a metal coat hanger to run this. And in blind tests, no one can tell the difference between this cable and that cable or any other piece of wire. So yeah, it's really, and you're right, that community is very aggressive. I think you find this in general. Another place where we find very aggressive persons is tone wood. What's the guitar made out of? It makes such a massive difference in how the guitar sounds. No, it doesn't. And this has also been illustrated very effectively. There was, I forget the person's name, but he had a really cool YouTube channel, probably is still there. And he is a woodworker and a guitarist. And he has a CNC machine. So he had 5 different guitar bodies made. And he made the thing that was like a neck and just the pickups, and had all the electronics in it. And then he set it so you could put a different body and push it in. A really tight fit. And then he made 5 different bodies of the exact same dimensions. And he would put the different bodies on and do a recording. And on one of the pieces of wood, you could tell a very, very slight difference, as if you had maybe turned up the treble a little bit on an EQ. I mean, it was so slight. It's like, yeah, just changing your EQ is going to do so much more than that. If a guitar makes beeps and boops, it's a guitar, baby. Absolutely right. Yes. And Sean, I'm even going to go with acoustic guitars and classical guitars. And again, that community, they get sometimes very aggressive. But two of the greatest examples I'll give is the Ramirez guitar, no longer playable. Ramirez always said the tone wood doesn't matter. And to prove it, he made a guitar that the back and sides, the classical guitar, the back and sides were paper mache. And the reports are, it sounded just as good as all his other guitars. And then one of my favorites is, and I've never got my hands on one of these, but it'd be awesome to play them. The Taylor Company made, I think it was only like 150 of these. They made the pallet guitar. It's a steel string acoustic, and the wood comes strictly from shipping pallets. So there's a lot of pine and oak are kind of the main woods, but just whatever they get from that, that's what they make them from. And I'm actually gonna say that I disagree with your statement there, that you'll hear tonal differences from the wood. You won't. It's the player. It's definitely the player. And what'll happen is a player that wants it to sound different will play that guitar differently. Because I can make a huge difference in the tonal qualities of my acoustic guitars just by how I angle my fingers. And they won't even know they're doing it. They'll be like, oh, this guitar tone is brighter, and they will put their fingers in a different angle, not even realizing that they're doing it. Yeah, and that's also a great point. Yeah, if you don't have this kind of, there was a company I saw back in, I want to say like the late 90s. They're out of business. I could never find them again. and they were making guitars, and they would only use wood that had been submerged underwater for at least 75 years. And the claim was that the little air pockets in there, by the microbes, created these resonating pockets, and it's not true. It just isn't. So yeah, and I will say it's on acoustics, electrics. It's not. No. The shape of the guitar can have more of a difference. Like if you have a larger body on an acoustic, you will hear more. You will hear a difference there because there's a different amount of air resonating inside that acoustic guitar body. So the design of the guitar absolutely can make a difference. The pickups on a guitar like this, I've got my two Ibanez Sabres, and they sound drastically different because I have different pickups. In the green one, I have the stock Axis pickups, which are a DiMarzio design, but not made by DiMarzio. And in this one, I have a DiMarzio Fred and a PAF Pro. And those sound very different. So that definitely, the pickups make a difference. The speaker you put it through definitely makes a difference. The amplifier makes very little difference. The cables make no difference. The wood your guitar is made out of makes no difference. And yeah, so it is a very, it can be a dangerous conversation to get into because some people do get so passionate about it. There was a violinist on TV that says NASA zapped his violin with electrons to make it sound old. I doubt that. And again, he probably thinks it sounds different. It sounds different if that actually happened. But nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Not at all. And I've even seen this conversation go so far where they talk, because Jimi Hendrix had an awesome sound. And that's because he was Hendrix and he had an awesome style. Yes, placebo, you are absolutely correct. And that totally aligns with what I'm going to talk about with Jim, is some people will talk about his tone and they'll say that, well, at the time that he was playing, guitar amplifiers had paper diodes, but now we use silicon diodes. And it's like, dude, those diodes are not responsible for making Jimmy sound good. Because here's the thing. If I could get my hands on Jimmy's entire rig in the shape that it was in when he was playing it, and I played it, I will not sound like Jimi Hendrix because I have a different style than he does. The tone was better because there was less global warming. You know why there was less global warming? Back then, it was because of Miles Davis and John Coltrane and Charlie Parker. Those guys were so cool that they actually kept the overall temperature of the world slightly lower. It was the jazz guys dying off that started global warming. I need to play some music. This was awesome though. I love this stuff. This is great conversation. This next piece, what do we got? We're in C minor, and my throat's going out here. This is called Blessed Are the Wicked. All right. Let's see what's coming up here. I think we got a good fast. Oh yeah, okay. We got 3 songs left in the show today. How long have we been going here? We've been going for 3 hours, and I have not had a dropout, so that makes me extremely happy. I'm really glad this load balancer is working. That is freaking awesome. This is a short little song, but I really like the riffs. And this is one of these songs where I sometimes feel like I wrote it too sharp when I play it. I'm like, nah, that was just right. Am I able to check Discord while streaming? Kind of, sorta. My main screen is actually inverted colors right now. Looks like I got someone new in here. Did you put it on the Mad Poet one? I don't see it. I will have to check that later. Because I just said that all my colors on my main screen are inverted. And so it's really hard to move things around and get it to where I could actually see it. But I didn't actually see a new picture in there. So I'll check it later on. I do like cats quite a lot. I am much more a cat guy than a dog guy. We fostered a cat here, oh gosh, last December, I think. For about 3 weeks, we fostered a really great cat. She was pretty sick when we got her. We had to give her some antibiotics. She had a wound on her side. And so we got her back to health. She's living up in Canada now with my sister-in-law's family. She's named Jupiter, and she's doing great. Match. I will check that when I get done. Absolutely. Yeah, all my colors. Basically, my main screen is where I have my sheet music, so I invert the colors on that, and so it looks like what you guys see here. Boom. And that makes it much easier so I don't have it so bright in the dark room, and it really works a lot more nicely. But then if I bring anything else onto that screen, then it is also a complete mess. So, yeah, I will check that later for sure. And that's not the right camera. There we go. So, yes, so let me get back to the correct. Okay, got my windows correct here. And yeah. This song is, we got 3 songs left. This song is called 6 Scars. This has been a really fun stream today. I really appreciate everyone coming in. We got 2 songs left tonight. One of my longer streams. We're over 3 hours now. Most of them are 2.5 or so, but I do like the long streams. So, like I said, we got 2 songs left, and this one, I was mentioning earlier that the Castle of the Crimson Knight. I've had quite a few people tell me that that is what, their favorite song that I've put out. And I said it's not one of mine. I do like the song a lot, but I wouldn't put it as my favorites. This next song I would. Voices of the Soulless. And why this one is kind of hits home for me is that so often when we set out to create art, we have an idea of what we want and we'll get as close to it as we can. But we don't usually get what we want, whether we're writing a book or a painting. Hey, Osu Gamer, thanks so much for coming in. Have a great night. Hope you can get some sleep before you get your brother off to school. Well, I will probably be back tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be doing my streams regularly again, so we'll be seeing you soon. Have a great night. Thank you very much. Like I was saying, when we set out to create a piece of art, we usually don't hit exactly what we want. This one, I had a vision for what the song was going to be, and it came out exactly the way I wanted it. I am so pleased with the way this thing came out. You did say that you have to have, but I was pretty sure I knew what you meant. No trouble, guy. Take care. So yeah, this just feels exactly the way that I wanted it to feel. Very pleased with the way it came out. This is called Voices of the Soulless. Okay, cruising on the end of the show here. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. Greatly appreciate it. I had a great time. It's great to be back. I'm glad that my stuff is working out, that my connection issues seem to be at least reasonably solved. We have not had a dropout here today. That's awesome. I will try to be back tomorrow. I'm not going to make any certain plans about my streaming schedule right now, but I do want to get back to very regular streams and see where that leads us. So we got one song left here tonight. This is called CWO. I'll let you look that up if you want to find out what it means. Probably the only place you'll be able to find out what it means is on my YouTube, or maybe my website, themadpoet.net, repository of all things Mad Poet. Check it out if you are so inclined. This is a quick, short one, CWO. Let's finish this show up. All right, gangsters, that is all I got. Again, thank you very much. Had a great time here. I will be hopefully back tomorrow, definitely back soon. Until then, we'll see you.